Good morning, friends. Welcome. Mossy is lying on the ground behind us.
Can you stop?
Hello, Paint Liquor. I've turned off my camera so she can get up. That's funny stuff. I need to fix my camera anyway. Cool. Alright, welcome. It's a beautiful day. Sunday morning, ready to assemble Preacher. I feel like that should flush a little more, maybe not. So yeah, this is one of the new Wanderers. Or the fifth Wanderer now? Is this the fifth or sixth? Fifth. Luck, Goth, Drifter, Candy, Anais, Preacher. She is number 6. Yep, me too. I think it'll be really cool. Oh yeah, this will have to go here, does it? Maybe it goes like that. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'm excited. As always, I'm going in completely blind. Don't know what she does. I've got a couple others to assemble actually sitting here. I've got this one's Lola Wen, I think. Yep. Cool model. Then I got Big Lola Wen. Then I got the Ash Bloom on the horsey. And then I got this one, Fated Dagger Domino. And I did Survivor Ingama yesterday. Well, she's got a couple of faces. You can have her hair swooshing around, or you can have her hair... Yeah, wonder which one we'll go for. I'm not sure. So this is probably a good point to leave that to dry rather than fucking about with stuff. So yeah, I might put her aside for a bit. Leave her to dry and then we'll come back. Thank you. I will have fun with it. I'm sure it will be a treat and a delight. Kingdom Death builds are always very fun. Dorothy, Dorothy the dinosaur. So she's blue, isn't she, Dorothy? Pretty sure she's blue. Look, mate, I'm one of the greatest miniature assemblers that's ever lived, so I think I'll be fine. Nah, it'll be okay. Let's do a little bit of red. Alexa, airbrush on. Too much. Do. Yeah, it's been a good week. A bit of travel, bit of work, a few games. Didn't do much painting this week. Alexa, airbrush off. My Yeah, my painting time's reduced a lot in the last few years due to a number of factors. I looked at the Sasa Lele yesterday, and I didn't pick anything up. There was two that I was interested in. One was the Partnership Remaster. I was pretty keen on that, but I'm usually a couple of days late. I don't usually get the resins, so I don't really mind if I'm not right on it. The new Indomitable Survivor obviously is always one that's on my radar. I have every one of those so far, but this year I'm going to try and do the Indom Survivor bundle at Black Friday. That's my plan anyway. I don't generally buy stuff that's non-gameplay. Generally, I buy the naked bundles because I like the plastic, and I like having the models ready to go so that when the actual gameplay does arrive, it's ready to go. I don't have to paint it. I can just jump straight in. That's why I like those. Let me go check the Iron Succubus, see if that changes my mind. Kingdom Death. Yeah, Heartland Baselard Renee, very nice. Heart Leech. Valentine's Day pin-up Twilight Night. Frozen Survivor Camellia. I can't even see it. Maybe I missed it. I cannot even see it. Feel free to link it. Hey, Sean. Morning's going well, mate. Yep, just, the dealio, painting, getting ready for an exciting day of... Oh, Rugby League starts today, so I'm jazzed. Oh, man. Cool, I'm going to look right now. Oh, that's fine. I had to get my preacher from the US. She's a resin, is she? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. I have a rule that I don't buy resins. Because I spend enough money on King of Death. That's basically my reason. The resins are nice. I've got a couple of them. Actually, kindly donated by Bra, the legend. ATM. ATM. yeah, so it's been pretty nice to just get back into a display piece, and I guess just try and blast through it. I just sort of um, decided that I wanted to try and get through some of my backlog and do some fun stuff, some quick stuff. Test out the old painting muscles. I mean, I've still been painting. Obviously, over the last few months, I've done Grim Coven. I've done Kingdom Death models. I haven't stopped painting, but I just feel like my display painting stuff has disappeared, and yeah, that's just a byproduct of the time that I have to spend and the motivation. But yeah, and then I, of course, I have my big big diorama that I'm ready to work on. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Eventually. Everyone does need to remember leg day. It's a good point. No, I talk a lot about miniature painting and the why. And I think you just always got to keep in mind why you're doing it. And this is not a career for me. I don't have to do it. And so I always prioritize just my own enjoyment over getting something done. And I think there's also, you feel a pressure when it comes to social media and content creation. You feel this pressure because you sort of don't want to let people down, the people that are supporting you and watching you. You get that perspective. I don't want to let them down. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And very early on, when I was streaming, it used to be a real driver for me. I'd stream 3 or 4 times a week. I didn't want to let people down. But then I burned myself out, unsurprisingly. And then I relaxed a little, got my focus back onto why I do it. And since then I've been pretty consistent, but it's also been something that if I miss a day, here or there, I don't mind. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, that's not the vibe that everyone gets. But the miniature space is generally very positive in that regard. we're all out to look out for each other, which is nice. Okay, let's go. So Dorothy was a pale blue dress. Yeah, this has been fun, Sean. This has been a nice, relaxing dive back into display painting. It included 2 really awesome models to paint and 2 that are just okay. I thought I was going to enjoy the Scarecrow more than I did, but the Tin Man and the Lion were both absolutely awesome, and this one's fine. Oh, I've missed her whole shoulders there. What an idiot you are, Deno. Alright, gotta fix that up. What a doofus. Yeah, the lion's great. The lion is a really well sculpted, dynamic, cool figure to paint, and the Tin Man, the robot's great for practicing your non-metallic metals or painting with normal metals if you're that way inclined. So yeah, I would recommend it to... I don't think you can get this anymore actually. Maybe you can. I haven't looked it up in a long time, but it was a limited run. Lucas Pina released his latest sculpt today. Oh, we need some water. And Ogre Mercenary, one of the ones that I like. We'll have to look into that. Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of them left. I'm sure you could. G'day Time Stop. I'm sure you could get it on eBay for an exorbitant price. See, I think my timeline for for the next few months in terms of painting. I'm gonna do my Oathsworn figures. I sort of I don't talk about Kingdom Death because I pretty much will always intersperse the other stuff that I get with my Kingdom Death. But yeah, I'd like to do the Oathsworn game so that I have a fully painted Oathsworn ready for my next campaign. So that's going to happen, I think. And then the Lizardmen diorama will also be on the agenda. I don't know the order of those two, but I'm probably thinking the Lizardmen diorama first. And then got a couple of other little bits and bobs to work on. Yeah, I got a few little things that I'd like to try and knock over. Where's me black? Yeah, that's probably. I haven't watched that series as yet. I have heard pretty good reviews, but I haven't heard that I look like the main character. I'll take that as a compliment, mate. So I'm sure I was intended. I've been told on a number of occasions that I look like certain celebrities. I got told I looked like Damian Lewis for a while. He was a guy from Wolf Hall and Band of Brothers. I got told I looked like him. Probably when I was less fat. I get Greg Davies all the time. He's some British comedian guy. So I get him a lot. And then, yeah, now I've got this one. Stitch Up. Maybe you guys have got it all wrong. Maybe those actors look like me. Okay, Pure Chaos. Yep, that is it. If you could let Mossy know, that'd be great. There you go. I'll look him up. See if he looks like me. Everyone's seen this diorama, haven't they? That I've been working on. Maybe I'll grab it out just in case people haven't seen it. It's on my socials, but not everyone follows the socials. Things are well. Football season starts now, which is great, and then work's good. I threw my hat in the ring for the Miniature Masters thing that Squidmar's doing. Sounds like a bit of fun. So we'll see how that goes. Here's the whole diorama. Dorothy the dinosaur. Yeah, Thugby. That's a good way of describing it. Yeah, it's going okay. I think it's got some good things happening, but yeah, it's lacking a little bit of refinement. But I mean, this is not an exercise in perfection. This was an exercise in how quickly can I do a figure that looks cool. So I think all up we're still sitting under, we're about 4.5 hours now for that. Yes, true. Rugby, I should say, rugby league. So this colour that I'm using now is one that I've fallen a bit in love with for highlighting. I don't know why. It's basic skin tone. It's not even really a light colour. It's even more of like a mid-tone, but I keep gravitating towards it for highlighting. And it just adds a really nice warmish tone to I use it for all sorts of colours. I've used it for green, used it for blue, used it for red. It's just a really nice colour. It's kind of a bit subtle though. And you don't want to use too much of it. You don't want to go straight that colour because then it might look a little bit too close to an actual skin tone that you've got. Yeah, just has been really working for me recently. It's interesting how your painting evolves over time. Like my colours that I used to use, I always used to have a certain way, a certain selection of colours that I'd use all the time, and as a result, my paintings always kind of looked a certain way. Like you could always pick my paintings, and that's the case now. But I think it's less about the colour now and more about like the technique, the brush strokes, and the contrast. I think you can pick mine a little easier now because of the way that I paint, rather than the colours that I use. Whereas in the past, I think it was more about the colours than anything else. Yeah, probably. I don't think there's really a right or wrong thing there. It's it's a good thing that people can pick your work, I guess, but it is no big deal. What are we at? 44 minutes. This chick's taking me a lot longer than she should have. Speed it up, Deno. Actually rewatched Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings yesterday. It's a good film. I liked it. I think I liked it more on my rewatch than I did the original watch. Very, very keen on Doomsday, yeah. So drawing ever closer. I think I'm pretty much up to date. I don't think I've missed any. I haven't watched Wonder Man, which is the latest TV show, but I think I'm pretty much up to date on everything else. I see Awkwafina is one of my favourite things about that movie. I think she's classic. But yeah, I could definitely see why people would get not aligned with her approach. Okay. That's exactly what happened, Sean. Yeah, they go, oh my god, we're onto a cash cow here, and they just went ballistic. And if you look at the first I guess phase leading up to the Avengers, the quality was quite varied. But then phase two, when they went through Avengers into like Age of Ultron, it was pretty much straight up banger after banger. And then Infinity War and Endgame are two of the best films, not just comic book films, but I think they're actually some of the best films ever made. That's my nerd showing for sure, but you just don't get that many actors coming together for a film of that high profile, and the special effects were stunning. It was just a really cool couple of films, and yeah, Infinity War, the way that it ended, again, just crazy. So yeah, I and then, but they somewhere in that path they realised, oh my god, we can do TV as well, and then everything just started to fall down. They had fingers in too many pies. I could not sleep the night before I went to Endgame. I got to the cinema about 2 hours early. I was frothing. It was fucking awesome. And yeah, I haven't felt that way in a while. So I understand what you're saying. But that was a very cathartic experience, that whole movie. I remember what I saw it 3 times at the cinemas. I remember thinking to myself, I don't know how any film ever tops this experience as I was watching it. I cried. I cried so much. Yeah, that's a really good way of describing it, actually. Yeah, imagine seeing Star Wars for the first time in the cinemas. What about that? That would have been something special. That's actually a really good way of thinking about it. I'd never thought of that before. Yeah. The only thing I can relate to on that is the amount of times I rented Star Wars on VHS from my local library. I used to ride down there on my bicycle every Tuesday. That was my local hangout, the library, and they had a series of VHSs, and I used to hire pretty much a VHS every week, and it was one of the following: Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and a wonderful film that I still to this day think is one of the greats, Willow. I watched those films from the library pretty much for about 4 or 5 years over and over. Just crazy. Alright, what colour are we doing the thing here? It's supposed to be white. Okay. Let's use this one. And this one. Yeah. God, I love that movie. Sean Connery. I suddenly remembered my Charlemagne. Let my army be the rocks and the trees and the birds in the sky. Son, the floor's on fire. Yeah, I loved that time. Doesn't consumerism just ruin everything? Say you will, say you won't, say you'll do what I won't, say it true, say to me, say la vie. Oh, I never got into Star Trek when I was younger. Never once. I've gotten into it a lot more in the last few years. Mostly because of, yeah, exactly, same. Mostly because of Star Trek Discovery and the new series or the new films that they did with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. Zoe Saldana. I've gotten into it as a result of those, but yeah, I wonder why. I think, I mean, Star Trek was pulp sci-fi, wasn't it? It was all action and magic and stuff, whereas Star Trek's always been a lot more cerebral. It's always been a little bit more trying to send a message, and maybe that's why. At least, Sean, at least your parents were supportive, mate, trying to get you something that you liked. That's a good thing. Trying to help you follow your passion. Projector. Yeah, mate. So there was a video chain in Australia called Video Easy. Video Easy movie guarantee. The choice is easy. Show my age now. But yeah, I used to head down to the Video Easy, which was actually quite close to the library. I used to ride my bike to these places, by the way, when I was a young fella. I used to love riding my bike. And yeah, so the other thing I used to do was rent out. They used to have Super Nintendo and PlayStation games from there. So I'd rent out computer games from there, or games from there. And I remember every time I go there, all the games were always fucking disorganised and shit. And the people that worked at Video Easy hated it. They hated the games. They used to pay someone to come in and organise it. Well, anyway, one day, I didn't realise this at the time. I used to just I used to go in there and organise the shelves, and just so I could find the games that I wanted. And yeah, then one day I did that, and the chick who was behind the counter was like the manager or something, and she said, because I took my game over that I was hiring, I'd spent like 30 minutes there organising the shelves, and she gave it to me for free, and it was one of the greatest moments of my life, because I didn't have a lot of money back then, because I was a small child, and I used to rely on my pocket money, and so hiring one game was always a big deal, and I got it for free, which meant I had more money, so I could go to the convenience store and get some lollies. Great times. But yeah, I used to love going to the video store as well. You know, walking around, looking at all the movies. My holidays, my school holidays used to be, Video Easy used to do like 10 for $20 or something, or 10 for $5. So I used to go down there and hire out a whole collection of movies for my holidays, so that I could watch all cool movies. That's where I watched Waterworld. Waterworld was one of my favourite movies around then. That got absolutely panned in the cinemas, but it was good. Good movie. I liked it. Postman was good. Dennis Hopper steals every movie, including the Super Mario Brothers movie. Alright, Alexa, airbrush on. Alexa, airbrush on. Listen to me first time, you saucy minx. Bit of signal blue, maybe. I might go this. Bit of Warp Lightning green. Yeah. Nice. Splash paint everywhere. Airbrush skills is a cool thing to have, friends. I recommend it. Fuck, it's crazy that this still moves. Okay, we just want a tiny little bit of orangey red, I think, to just warm up her skin tone. So that's normally a volupus pink, but I think I want something a little orangier. So maybe I'm just going to go a super, super light orange fuego. Let's see if that works. I think I need a little more red. Let's go some volupus pink into that. Just a tiny little bit. Okay. Alexa, airbrush off. Good work, Auto Mod. Auto Mod just caught a spammer for me. Yeah, what a shame. I'm getting urges to rewatch The Expanse. It rustles my jimmies. I don't think I've watched a show that hits quite as hard as The Expanse does for me. Maybe Game of Thrones at its peak. It is just so good. If you haven't watched it, get around it. It will revitalise sci-fi television for you. I've watched Sons of Anarchy. As a general rule, I don't like shows, as a general rule, that replicates stuff that happens in real life. I've never really enjoyed like crime shows. You know, people always talk to me about how great Breaking Bad is, and I'm sure it's a tremendous show. I don't really like the fact that I'm sure that happens in real life, almost. Sort of. You know what I mean? And that's a That's just a me thing. It upsets me that there are people in the world that do bad things. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Alright, I'm going to do some airbrushing on this, I reckon. So I just want to add some wood tones to that. Alexa, airbrush on. And then maybe some chestnutty tones to the line, perhaps. Okay, and then yeah, I think we'll go chestnut. Chestnut seems like a good all-rounder for this situation. Bit of Inktense chestnut. Might even go straight in there. Oh, you crazy guy. Alright, I need to do something to the... No, that's okay, I think. I think that's helped. Okay, I'm gonna glue Dorothy down. Let's see how it looks. We've ticked over about 5 hours now. I think 5.5 hours is where this is going to be close to finished. Alexa, airbrush off. Thank you. Alexa, airbrush off. Thanks. Cool. So, alright. Yeah, there's just lots of little things that we could do now. There's only one thing that we need to do, which is her ruby boots. But yeah, everything else we could do, I'm not sure we need to do. NTM. can't wait for the weekend to begin. Next weekend. This one's almost over. And now, don't dream it's over. And now, when the world comes in, let it come. Be the war between us. I know they won't win. Yeah, I think the Scarecrow is the weak point of this composition and or sculpt and or paint job by me. So that's fine. Let's just cop that one on the chin. We know that to be the case. Alright, pink, a little bit of pink maybe. That's Violet. Just one pink. Yeah, Tin Man's absolutely on fire. And he covers most of that guy anyway, so that's fine, I think. Yeah. Oh, Demon Rich. That's Richard Gray, everyone. Everyone should go follow Richard. Hello, Chris. Tremendous painter. Absolute animal. Yeah. Hello, Crystal McDowell. Yes, I'm just finishing off this piece that I started approximately, and this can be confirmed by going and looking at my videos previous to this one, 5 hours ago. Hello, the Forge of Mars. Hello there. So we're just going to do the ruby red slippers with a little bit of this pink, and then we will use the red ink over the top to make them look red. Thank you, mate. Yes, I appreciate that. It's a good sculpt. Easy to do a good paint job when you have a good sculpt. The sculpt carries my work significantly. Alright, well, let's zoom out a bit. Yeah, so that's the viewing angle sort of like that. And I think we got the non-metallic metal reflections pretty well spot on. I think we got the focal points on the lion okay. The trees may be a bit of a problem actually, because it looks just a little flat that side, so let's just tweak that fractionally. Just fractionally. Let's see. Yeah. And now I reckon we'll just add some little pistachio pops. Just some little pistachio pops. Pretty much all over, I think. See if that works. In the end, it doesn't even matter. My trust in you, pushed as far as I can go. For this, there's only one thing you should know. Put my trust in you, pushed as far as I can go. Yeah, I don't think there's too many areas that are lacking the amount of vibrancy that they need. We're trying to draw focus to specific areas. Always trying to draw focus to specific areas. So yeah, I think that's worked out alright. Maybe we'll just do some little highlights on her hair. Okay. You. Alright, I reckon that's just about done. So, someone will have to check my, Someone will have to check my last few streams and add them together, because I don't think I did any painting off stream for this one. Alright. I might just a tiny little splash of red, this same colour red, in this guy's mouth. Alright, that'll do. Actually, this is what happens. You get to the end and then you're like, oh, I should do that, I should do that. I just want to do these little mushroomies. I'll just make them like browny grey mushrooms. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road. No, 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 no. Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful things he does. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. All right, we're calling it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this blast through painting of this figure. I certainly have enjoyed it. Nice to get the creative juices flowing a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna head off to the gym. Mossy and I will do some gym weights and pretend that we're fit people. That'll be great, and then I'll be back later on playing some cool board games tonight. And then, yeah, I'll probably start doing Preacher, Little Preacher Girl. Will be my next stream, I would think. But yeah, that's it. I'll catch you all again soon. Big General out.